Undisputed. We are live from LA. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, Jenny. Good morning. How are you?
So today, my Dallas Cowboys get a head start on the entire NFL by holding their first camp practice out here near LA in Oxnard. Could that mean they'll be one of the last two teams playing in the Los Angeles Super Bowl this year?
First to start, first to end.
I don't know.
Your season over week 15.
Maybe longest to play. I
week
don't know.
15 you done.
Yeah.
You just finishing out the schedule.
Really?
That's all you do.
Here we
You're
go.
already saying that? I apparently put Cowboys colors on. I don't know if that's a good sign, bad sign. I'm not so sure how I feel about it. We will talk about the Cowboys in a bit. But listen to this. The director of the original Space Jam has spoken out, guys, against LeBron's new version. Joe Pica told TMZ that it took him 5 different sittings to finish the new 2-hour version movie, in addition to ripping the soundtrack and its depiction of Bugs Bunny. But perhaps his biggest target was the star LeBron James himself, explaining that the king doesn't have the superstar je ne sais quoi that MJ had, saying, quote, "The truth is that LeBron ain't Michael." Shannon, how much do you disagree with this?
Well, I disagree with him because I liked the movie. I thought the movie, I gave it a B+. Yeah, it was a little long, but it did.
He said it took him 5 sittings to get through it.
Well, I mean, maybe he's just old. Maybe his attention span isn't that long, Skip. But it seems like, to me, he has a problem with Warner Brothers because he was the original director, and maybe Warner Brothers did not invite him back to do the sequel. That's not uncommon, Skip. We've seen a lot of guys direct the first installment of it, and then they go in a different direction for the next one, whether it's creative differences or whatever the case may be. But I think at this point in time in his life, in his career, LeBron James understands one thing. I am going to receive a certain level of criticism no matter what I do. And once you realize you're not going to be able to appease everybody, nor should you attempt to, your life will be much better. And so I think that's where LeBron is in his situation. Skip, look, this is what he said. I'm trying to figure. In 2016, this is what he said. He says, "I don't see how it could work. Plus, I don't want them to make it." That's probably the real reason, isn't it? So 5 years ago, the idea that it might come, Skip, LeBron
He said that Dwight Howard and company came to him and said, "How about Dwight as the Jordan figure?" Yeah, go ahead.
It's Skip. LeBron James is every bit big today as Jordan was back then. He's the equivalent, Skip. He's this generation's Michael Jordan. Now, you might not like you might not like what he stands for. You might not like his game is not as flashy as Mike. But he is, to say that je ne sais quoi, what are you talking about? It seems to me that, man, people, I think, to make a long story short, Skip, I think a lot of people just have, no matter what LeBron does, they're going to have a problem with it. And there's this fraction of people over here that's in Jordan's camp. And anything that LeBron does, Jordan did it better. Jordan
So it's
did
just a little fraction.
Well, no, I'm just saying, well, fraction. I mean, you got 7 billion people.
Okay,
I mean, let's just say there's 800 million, or however the case may be, Skip. There are the people over there that's never going to side with LeBron because they're in Jordan's camp. And that's just the way it is. And I think LeBron's okay with that. But to go out of your way to try to offer a harsh critique, okay, fine, I didn't like the movie. But it seems to me it got a little personal. Skip, if I don't like a movie, okay, I don't like the movie. I didn't like that. But to take personal shots at the actors, I think that was a little out of the way, unnecessary. That's his opinion. It's well within his right to say that. But I disagree with it.
Okay. As I read these quotes last night, my thought was obviously my sentiments exactly. I couldn't have said it better because I said it before he said it. It's not that I'm trying to pick apart the remaking of the movie, the plot twists that they threw in, however the subplots, whatever plots. For me, it's simply that LeBron is not Michael.
He didn't have to be, Skip, see?
Okay, but that's just me. And I told you, let's see, we did it Monday, so I told you Tuesday that after I slept on it and I reflect on it, you know, I have no problem with LeBron until you keep putting him in the Jordan context. Like, I'm great with LeBron. He's obviously all-time great. I always tell you he's a good guy, and family man. We go on. I love, and as a social justice crusader, there's never been anything like him. And I give up all that to him. But as soon as you put him in, he's better than Jordan category, I'm outraged because he's just not. And now we get to making a movie that revolves strictly around Michael Jordan in 1996. He was the centerpiece. He was the son of that movie. He was the SUN son. He was the force field in that movie from start to finish. And what did I tell you Monday in critiquing is that he was much better at playing himself than LeBron was at playing himself. I also gave in to you to say they had a plot twist involving his second son. Wasn't actually played by his second son, but right. In the movie, he's his second son.
Correct.
That was pretty deep about parenting and fatherhood and yes. How you treat your sons. And you were deeply affected by it because it sort of impacted you with your son who had just got married on Saturday.
Correct.
And you watched the movie on Sunday.
Correct.
So it's dear to your heart.
Right.
And it was very emotional for you. And my point was, man, you're asking LeBron to do a whole lot of acting that it's not his first job. It's not what he's been practicing all his life to do. And now you're asking him to go deep as an actor in ways I didn't think he could pull off, and he didn't pull it off.
Skip, you make it seem like Jordan and his performance was Chadwick Boseman in Black Panther. He wasn't even stop it.
Boy, he was a great Michael Jordan. And again, remember what I did. I watched this Space Jam, LeBron Space Jam on Friday night, and I turned right around on Saturday night, and I watched Jordan's again. I don't know how many times I've seen it before, but I needed to get it fresh in my head. And it was shocking to my eyes and to my senses how great Jordan was. He's so comfortable. He was so cool. He was so funny. He owned it, but he owned himself in the part. He dominated that movie in ways LeBron was not able to dominate, because I thought LeBron came across oftentimes as wooden, as if he was acting for the first time in a high school play. It didn't ring true to me. Again, it's Jordan versus LeBron in charisma. And let's go back to what Joe Pytka, the original director, said. He said, I've worked with 3 people that have this magical quality, whatever you want to define it as, charisma, star power, I don't know, magnetism. And he said the 3 people are Michael Jordan, Michael Jackson, and Madonna. And he said there's never been anything like those 3 where you just immediately, without understanding anything about them, you gravitated to them. They took over rooms. And
so you don't think LeBron can take over a room?
Not like Jordan can. And again,
but see that's the thing. He can take over a room, but not like Jordan. Well, he can play basketball, but not like Jordan.
Well,
he can sell sneakers, but not like Jordan. Skip, it's okay.
Well, no, it's okay for LeBron to be second best. It's just okay. It's okay.
That's what you wanted to be.
Okay.
But some people say he's not second best.
All right, I'm going to finish Joe Pytka's quote. So he says, in the end, LeBron is a great basketball player, blah, blah, blah. He goes on and on about what a great basketball player is, but he says he is not Michael, not as a basketball player or as an actor. Maybe they should call this movie something else, said Joe Pytka. My wife, Ernestine, turned to me as soon as we watched the Friday night, this new Space Jam, and she said, whoa, why did they have to call it Space Jam? What's it, the New Legacy?
Right.
She said, why didn't they just rename it? Just do it. Do your own brand of it. Don't call it Space Jam.
Warner Brothers didn't want to do that.
Okay, but you could. You have enough star power on your own. You have enough box office power because you have 142 million followers on social media that you could have just said, let's go a different direction.
Well, Warner Brothers has $242 billion.
Okay.
Because we've seen this before. We've seen companies says, okay, this is the direction that we want to go in. And the actor says, that's not the direction that I want to go in. And it says, okay, we'll find somebody that wants to go in the direction that we want to. So Warner Brothers, LeBron wanted to do the movie. Warner Brothers wanted to take the movie in the direction. They saw LeBron says, okay, let's take it in a different direction. Let's make it family-oriented. Let's make it about a father and his son, and about what the father wants that might not be what the son wants. But see, because it wasn't like directly followed Jordan, it wasn't directly basketball themed, although basketball was very important because LeBron wanted his son to be like him and take basketball serious. His son wanted to do computer. He wanted to do gaming.
I got it. But in the end, LeBron, like Jordan, becomes a cartoon. He goes into the
Yes.
toon world,
Right.
and he plays a basketball game against the villainous, whatever you want to call them, Monstars or Goon Squad.
Correct.
Okay?
Yes.
So it's still, the motif is the same.
Yes.
It's just, you take this framework, and you're going to go in a little different subplot direction
Yes.
within the framework, but in the end, he goes into the cartoon world and saves the cartoon
Right.
world from the evil
Well,
forces.
one situation is about a family. The other situation says, look, I took up all this time and I can still beat those players there. That's what that was about. That's totally the skip. That's a totally different plot line.
All right. I defy anybody, and I challenged everybody Monday. I challenge you to watch those two movies back to back and tell me that Jordan doesn't have more charisma in his movie than LeBron does in his. And again, maybe it's the director's fault in this movie, or not it's the script's fault. It's 2 hours long. It's way too long. It's over long, and you kind of lose sight of what the message is after a while, because it just the basketball game at the end takes like an hour to play. It's endless on film. I was dozing off in it. It just went on so long.
But here's the thing, Skip. When you're playing a role and you're being a parent, maybe charisma is not what you're trying to showcase on the screen.
All right, I got it. But here's, in the end, there's a recent LeBron quote I'm going to read back to you, and it's the essence of my issue with this. LeBron said recently, in my younger days, part of my thinking was, Space Jam was so good, how can I top this? Okay, that's a good thought. That's a safe thought to me, because I told you, LeBron, I've warned him again and again, don't try to be or beat Michael Jordan, because that is the GOAT to me. Now, you'd say otherwise, but that's, you're going to bite off a little more than you can chew if you try to beat him on and off the court. That's just me. But he goes on to say in this recent quote,